John Thompson, longtime college football defensive mind, great storyteller. Last time Trevor Lawrence got beat, Coach Thompson had the game plan that defeated Lawrence. We'll ask him about it coming up here in mere minutes on Off the Bench. Brody Miller going to stop by 8:30 this morning from The Athletic, tell you about some of the cool things happening down in the city for the national championship coming up this weekend. Hour one already in the books. If you miss it, it's online, 1045ESPN.com. Carriages of Baton Rouge, always bringing back our sound here on Off the Bench. We talked to Booger McFarland. We're also going to talk to Brandon Landry coming up in the hour end of hour number 2, the president and CEO of Walk-Ons Enterprises tonight. Undercover Boss going to debut on network television, and Landry and Breeze went undercover. We'll talk to Landry about the process and about this show tonight. A little watch party, I think, happening.
I want to go on Undercover Boss, and I want them to put a fake beard over my beard, and then I take my beard off, and I just still have the exact same beard.
So Coach John Thompson has got a very the resume in football. I mean, my goodness, man, he's been everywhere. He finished up at Blessed Trinity High School back in 2017-2018, which is a private high school over in the greater Atlanta area, where he ran into a lot of top-tier high school football talent, coached it as well. Trevor Lawrence was one of the quarterbacks that he ran into in November of 2017, and that's actually the last time that Lawrence has lost a game. He's undefeated as Clemson's quarterback. He had an illustrious high school career, but Coach Thompson, who is now living in the Atlanta area, just north of Atlanta in the Alpharetta region, is kind enough to jump back on with us here on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota. Coach, good morning. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Hope you're doing good there, Jordy, T-Bob.
Yes,
Coach,
sir.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. A little bit from an experience standpoint, just going into a big game, national championship on the horizon here for LSU and Clemson. As far as a coaching tactic or technique that you may incorporate when this game obviously bigger than the other ones.
You know what? It's interesting. I talked to Bebe yesterday a little bit, and believe it or not, he was a little bit excited. I don't know. You guys know that he's really calm all the time, but he was really excited. But I think they got a great plan. It's 16 or 17 days, however many it's been. That's a long time to wait for a game of this magnitude. But he's going through the process of keeping his guys sharp. I think that's the key, keeping them fresh, but keeping them sharp. Going ones versus ones a little bit, giving your guys rest, but making sure that they're on point on everything and keeping the routine as normal as possible. But a game of this size, there's no way you can do that. But I think they got a good plan in doing that.
Yeah, and they're trying to plan to beat Trevor Lawrence, something that has not been done since you coach. As the defensive coordinator, Blessed Trinity put an end to Cartersville winning streak. I can't remember exactly where it was at that point, but Lawrence, I think, famously lost just 2 games in high school, one of them to you. How did you shut down Trevor?
Well, he had won 41 in a row when we had played them. And it was, we had a good team now ourselves. We had some good players. We got a guy that's playing at Ohio State and another one playing at Notre Dame. So we were pretty good ourselves, but nobody had pressured him, and everybody that we had watched had backed off and tried to defend the pass, and obviously that didn't work very well. So we tried to just throw the kitchen sink at him. I mean, we really developed a plan where we could get an extra guy coming all the time. We were going to have a free rusher, and I think kind of surprised him. And as soon as he caught the ball, we had a guy coming right at him, and he had to run. It made him run, and I think he got a little bit tired during the game, and we got fortunate, and they had a few drops, and we got excited, and our team got to thinking, hey, we can win this game, and started out good, and it worked out. We played kind of a sandlot coverage on the back end because we couldn't match up, and there was no way that we could get all our rules, that who was going to cover who. So we just kind of backed off of them and played inside and in front, and we got lucky and made some plays down the line and got to him. So it was a very, very memorable game.
Well, and where that becomes interesting is because, like, Ohio State seemed to do some of the same things. So they really went after Trevor Lawrence. They got to him. They pressured him a bit. However, when he ran, that kind of ended up being the difference in that game. So I don't know how much Trevor Lawrence you get to watch nowadays, but if you had to compare, or if you had to talk, like, have you seen, what kind of growth have you seen in his game from that player you played in high school to now someone who is 29-0 as a starter on the college level?
I know it. It's amazing. He definitely has gotten a lot better, and he's got people that are better around him. But there was I walked out in the pregame against him, and I mean the guy was throwing missiles, and he was throwing at 50 and 6. So I turned around and went back in the dressing room. I wasn't going to. The only other time I'd ever done that, we played Tennessee back when T. Martin was playing, and T came out with no shirt and a dog collar on. a spiked dog collar.
Wow.
I turned around and went back in that day, too. So those two guys, they were intimidating. But, he's just I didn't know that much about him then, as a person. But he's got the coolness. He's got the confidence. But I think Dave Aranda and Bebe and the boys, they'll have a great plan for him and see what happens on Monday.
If you had to square up with Joe Burrow, Coach, would you be going back inside the locker room pregame?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't come out. I've seen too much of him right now. I wouldn't even come out. That's just for anybody that likes football, this is going to be what a great game. But Joe Burrow is on a magical run. Both guys are. Trevor and Joe both are on a magical run that maybe we may not see this, very much at all as somebody who loves football, like I know you two guys do.
Coach, so you're a great defensive mind. One of the things about this game that's kind of interesting, it's hard to quantify, we've talked about a lot, is the Brent Venables factor. He's by far the longest tenured coach LSU's going to square up with this year. He's been there 8 years. These Clemson guys know that system in and out. It seems like he shifts things constantly. Like, I guess, what's your thought on Venables, and then how much difference can something like scheme really make when it comes to trying to stop Burrow and company?
Well, I believe it can make a big difference, and you're right there in that. When you start to teach concepts and you get the guys that are there, and with Brent being there for 8 years, it's easier for him to implement new things for that because it's the old same as principle. It can look different on the field, but you can teach it in the same manner on the field, so your guys get it and they play faster and they play more confident. And watching this Clemson defense, he went to a lot of three-man front this year. He played a lot of 3-3, which has been certainly different than he did a year ago. So I think that LSU is going to see some different nuances, and I mean they'll try to trick him post snap, but nobody's been able to do that and get some disguises. But where I think Venables is really good is some exotic blitzes. And getting them coming from people that you don't expect, the twist and the linebackers and the corners and the safeties, and he's got guys on his team that can do both, that can play safety and that can rush the passer also. So I think that's going to be definitely and a very, very intriguing part of the game. But Joe Burrow's been so good at it. And what they've done, what Steve Ensminger has done, and I love how Steve has handled this entire year. What a man! He showed us what a real man, a real coach is through all of this, and I can't wait, man. Just talking to you guys, getting ready for it. I can't wait for Monday night.
How do you like it playing out, Coach?
Excuse me?
How do you like it? Who do you like winning this game?
You know what? I don't know yet. I really don't. I think it's going to come down to early, how well Clemson can play early, and keep it close, and who kicks field goals. If there's field goals that are kicked early in the game, then it's a toss-up. I really believe this thing's a toss. You can't pick either one of these with great coaches and great players. I couldn't do that. And then obviously if there's a mistake that's made, and there's going to be, but the pick six or a turnover at a critical time. I just think it's going to, come down to those two things: who kicks field goals. And that's going to be the team that doesn't win the game.
Longtime defensive mind in college football, John Thompson. He's got as impressive of a resume as you'll find in the sport. Kind enough to stop by with us and tell a couple of stories here on this Wednesday morning on Off the Bench. Always good to hear from you, Coach. Thanks for the time as always. Tell our boy Rock hello.
I will do that. Hey, I got one more quick one for you.
Yes, sir.
When I was the head coach at East Carolina, I hired a guy named Rick Stockstill, who's the head coach at Middle Tennessee. After that, when Stock left Clemson, Tommy Bowden hired a guy named Dabo Sweeney.
Oh. So this is your fault.
6 degrees.
Yeah,
it
this
touches
is your
John
fault,
Thompson.
Coach.
Everybody
Damn
touches
You
John
guys have a
Thompson.
great one. Thanks for having me on.
Always,
Yes, sir.
Coach. Let's talk again soon. There he is, John Thompson.